Hey, this is Michelle. I am going to show you how I am planning for 2019 and why I think that this is probably a good strategy for you too. Um, do you use the words overwhelmed, stressed, anxious to describe you and your writing life? If you do, you definitely need this spreadsheet. This will help demystify the entire publishing process. If you are an indie author, you are taking the role of an entire publishing company. That is a lot to manage. You need a project management spreadsheet. I couldn't find any project management software that would help me do what I need to do, which is track every new release from start to finish. I need to be able to easily push out deadlines if suddenly I decide that I can't get that edited in time. I need to know that my new release and all of those other dates are going to properly cascade under it. So I set up a spreadsheet just for writers, just for indie authors, for people who are self-publishing, who are managing an entire publishing empire. You'll be able to track as many new releases as you need. I will show you how to easily add or remove different spreadsheet pages. It will help you be able to track what needs to be boosted in your backlist. It allows you to easily see what is coming up for promotion, what you need to do to prepare. Plus, it is super flexible. Once I show you how to do it, there will be no problems in adding in your other business endeavors. If you are also doing photo shoots, if you are doing sales on Etsy, or if you are doing cover design for other people or editing for clients, I will show you how to easily add in those deadlines so that everything is tracked in one easy place. You will get a great rush of satisfaction when you know that all of your time is actually being spent on the things that matter. For me, I have ADHD and depression and anxiety, and all three of those are so common in the writing community, but they can definitely increase the feeling of overwhelm. So this helps me at least put my overwhelm in the right direction. So I know what I have to do, when I need to do it, and how long it's going to take me. Every new release, it gets a little bit smarter and a little bit easier for you to manage your time. If you want to work smarter, harder, and not longer, then this spreadsheet is the one for you. Stay tuned. I'll show you how I get everything set up for 2019 and show you how to customize your own so that you can dominate this year.
All right, so this is our spreadsheet. This is a brand new spreadsheet, so everything looks the exact same as what you're going to get when you download the file. I am using the wide file because I'm a wide author, but there's also the Kindle Unlimited option. It doesn't change very much other than it just modifies your promo plan and what you have to do for each release. Publishing on Kindle Unlimited is a simpler process. I won't say it's easier because it just kind of adds complexities in different places. With wide, there's just more you have to do in regards to uploading on different vendors and all that, especially since I'm direct with everything. So I work 5 hours a week and I try to work 35 hours a week. Oh. So yeah, that was the first little thing. For the different times, you have to put in 35:00 for hours. The way that Excel handles times is odd. So for using this section, for hours and minutes, you must enter 10:30 for 10 hours and 30 minutes, 0:20 for 20 minutes, etc. Another thing is it's kind of weird because of the fact that the weeks are 7 days long, but our weekdays are 5. But charts like this don't really recognize that very well, so it does take a little bit of finessing to get things the way I want it to. So I spend probably about half my time on new releases and then half my time on backlist, or a quarter of my time on backlist, and then a quarter of my time on administrative stuff. So, accounting stuff, website maintenance, um, those type of things where it's good for my backlist and my new releases. It's something that you just have to do to make sure your business is running. So it usually takes me, I can usually get a plot done in 2 days. 3 hours is about right. My books are about 60,000 words. And I write about 5,000 per day. So I write about 5,000 words in those 3 hours. And I can edit basically in 2 days because I usually just do the proofreading afterwards. So this is for how many days you want to have the book written before your launch. So if you're in Kindle Unlimited, I know a lot of people basically just, they write and then they can publish basically immediately once the editing and everything's done. With Wide, you need a bit more planning because of the fact that typically you want to be doing pre-orders in advance. So having the book written well before that is really a lifesaver. How many days before launch do you want to do the cover reveal? So I'm planning on starting to try to do cover reveals well in advance. So I am hoping for 3 months, but I am going to put it at, I'll say probably 2 months for now. So the way I want to do that, because I still want to have everything happen on the same day, I try to do it in multiplications of 7. So if I want to do it 8 weeks before, I'll just do 8 by 7, so I don't have to think about it. And I need the cover done, a week before cover reveal so that I can send it out to bloggers and I know that it's all ready. I'm pretty fast with covers, so I do 3 days. ARC should be sent how many days before launch? How many days before you hit publish do you want the book done? How long is your launch period? So I typically do from Friday until the next Monday. So it gives me kind of a full 10-day spread of new release promo. And my promo period, typically I try to stack it all within a week. So I'm just going to keep that as is. How often do I promo each book? I have a lot of books now, so I'm probably going to only promo once a year, if that, for each book. How many days do you want to promo after a new release? So that kind of goes into your launch period, but sometimes you might want to have a lower price for 2 days. So I've been doing a lower price for the first 4 days, but I'm not going to be doing that for the new release. So I'm just going to set it to the same thing as my launch period. How far in advance do you want to schedule promo? So if you have to get BookBub or Free Booksy or one of the big ones, sometimes you have to submit well in advance. So this is just going to tell you when you need to start booking that promo. And how far in advance do you want to change your prices? So if you are wide, you probably, especially if you're doing a permanent freebie or if you're doing a free run, you want to kind of give yourself a fair amount of leeway. I'm not planning on doing any free runs in 2019, so I'm just going to say I will mark it down 5 days in advance because I'll just be doing 99 cents. So this brings me to my breakdown. So this gives me kind of an estimate of what my week is going to look like, what my year is going to look like, and this is just for the calculation purposes of the chart. So I am planning on spending, 17 hours on a new release. So every week. So this kind of allows you to see if you're hitting your target goals. I also have another spreadsheet that I can make available where I actually track my hourly breakdown. So not just for work, but also for life. I have ADD, and this was something that my therapist and I talked about, of kind of having more of a feel of control over where my time is going and a better understanding of how I'm spending my time. So I know that if I'm spending too much time on admin hours, then I use admin hours kind of as a way to procrastinate or to do things that I probably don't need to do, like making huge elaborate charts to track everything. So it just kind of helps keep me better on track and more mindful of where my time is going. So obviously, it's not like I'm going to spend 3.5 hours every day on new release, and then an hour and 45 minutes on backlist, and then an hour and 45 minutes on admin. But this is just kind of going to be your average breakdown. It might only break down every month to these hours, but it's just kind of a general guideline. So this tells me that I can write about 25,000 words per week. So I can write a book in 17 days. And it'll take me around 36 hours. It'll take me around 7 hours to edit a book, and I could publish a book every 35 days or every, or every 35 weekdays. So this just kind of allows you to look and see, like, is this accurate? It's just a double check to make sure everything is looking right. So then once you're done there, you can look at your year in advance. So these all have little explanations on yours. I took them off on mine. But this is just going to be your overview. So I will be planning on a new release, and I am planning on having it in February, probably not February 15th. It will probably be February 22nd. So I just plugged that in. Oh. If you're doing this in 2018, make sure that you have to plug in 2019, else everything goes crazy. So yeah, I'm planning on having my first release probably February 22nd. So this tells me that I have to be already mindful of my writing. So that's fine because my writing is already done for this one, thank God. So I should be planning on having my cover reveal for December 29th. So I might play with that a little bit. This is just based on my calculations that you could see. But I might modify that just because of the fact that I don't want it coming out when so many people are Christmas crazy. So what I might do is I might aim to have that done for December 13th. So I'll type that in, and that updates. So I now know I have to start on December 4th, which I have. And it highlights this, that now this is in the period of where I'm supposed to be working on it. So if I had changed this, so today is December 9th. So if I had changed this to December 6th, it will now show this is red because this is overdue. So it kind of helps keep you a bit mindful of what's coming up and what you are looking at. It's not showing up here just because this starts in January. So if I were going to do the cover reveal on January 12th, 2019, then you can see that this is the work period that I'm going to be focusing on this. So that allows me to kind of look through and see, am I putting myself too tight? Am I also working on a backlist thing? Do I have 2 books that I'm supposed to be writing at the same time, and things like that. So it gives me a bit more flexibility in how I look at my day, and it gives me a chance to visualize it. So these are all done by the calculations as well. So this estimates how many hours it's going to take for you to write, how many hours you want to do the cover reveal, how much time you need for the pre-publishing and all of that. And these are the actual start days and how many actual days. So I personally don't use this because I find it kind of stressful when I see that I'm behind. But if I say I'm supposed to start on January 3rd and I don't actually start until January 9th, then it'll kind of change how things look. So this is now the actual period, and say it actually only takes me 5 days. So that'll kind of shorten things. And if I go over, say it's 12 days, it'll lengthen things. So if you are somebody who wants to check how your progress is going and where you're actually at, you can use these to better track it. And if you put in here 75%, it highlights the 75% of the actual days. So these are planned days that you never did anything with, and these are the actual days that you did the work. So if you're 100%, it shows you this awesome perfect bar, and I'm going to show that's 100% too. So it doesn't exactly line up, but it shows you how many days you're looking at and how average on track. So the reason that doesn't work perfectly is here you can see in release 2. So the writing is this much and the cover reveal is that much. But then you have this big, nice gap. So this is a gap where you could be working on another new release, or you can be working on a backlist or whatever. But then it comes the pre-release period and the release period. So once you're at 50%, you might be here, but you still actually have quite a lot of work to do. So it's just an overview bar of how the project is going overall. It's not an entirely accurate bar. So I'm going to change these back. And to change these back to just copying, you just hit the equal sign and then you go over here to the days. And that'll just copy whatever you have in the days into the actual days, and same with the actual start. I'm just going to copy and paste that because that's how I prefer to do things. So I have this set for the average of just what's here, but if you want, you can be more accurate with this, change it, whatever suits your purposes, just to get it looking the way you want. It is possible to break this, but it is pretty hard. The undo button is your friend. Make sure that you're using that if you see anything that's weird. So my first backlist promo I'm planning for January, and I'll probably plan for January 4th. So this will tell me that I need to make sure that I have my files uploaded, because everybody likes to have their perfect backlist ready for a good promo. And scheduling promotions, again, that's coming from the calculations tab, where how many days before promo do you want to book? So that's where that date comes from. So this is going to be the markdown price, where it's time to start changing that all to 99 cents. So once I'm done all that, I can hit 100%, and I know that I'm ready to go, and then it's just a matter of doing the promo period. So I'm going to show you the backlist schedule. So this is a way of tracking when your last backlist, when your last promo was for a book. So you can put in each of your book titles and then change the last promo date. So I just did a promo on one of my books, and that just ended on November 23rd was my last promo date. So that's telling me that my next promo date will be November 23rd for this one. So it's going to be blue all the way across until it gets to here. And that's when the promo period starts again. That's when I'm going to be starting to look at the things that are on my project planner, like the updating the files, scheduling the promotions, and all of that. So that kind of shows me there, as well as on here, when things are going to start coming together for that one. And this will be the promo period in purple. So the backlist schedule works a little bit different in that the blue is the waiting period for promo, and the purple is when the promo period is going to start. So this all auto-fills in all of this stuff, and this actually counts down for you. So we are 4% of the way to my next promo date for this one. So if I'm looking at the one that I want to start scheduling on January 4th, I'll put the last promo date as last January the 4th, and you can see that this is now 89% of the way through. So we're getting very close, and we're 93% of the way through the waiting period. So this will start up once we get to the actual promo period. So that's the backlist schedule at a glance. If you need to make more, all you have to do is do copy and paste, just regular paste, and that will copy all of the formatting and all of the stuff. So then you can just change the date to just July 7th, whatever. So you can just change all of that, and it's pretty easy. It's not so easy to reorder, but say you have backlist title here and suddenly you get a BookBub for it and you weren't anticipating for it. You can come up here and insert the cut cells and then have it a bit more on your forefront and change everything else. So this is just an easy way to track what you have in your backlist so that you're mindful of doing promotions, because obviously pushing your backlist is still a major component of being an author in 2019. So that'll all be in here. If you need to copy and paste, it's the same here. I have these colors set, but you can change them. You know, you can go up to here and say you want it to be a nice bright blue or something like that. It's really easy to change them. To change this, it's a little bit harder. I probably wouldn't recommend it unless you are very familiar with Excel or Office, but it is under conditional formatting. And you can go into manage rules, and these are the rules. And you can see which spreadsheet we're on. You can change it based on a selection, whatever. So I'm going to go to this worksheet and just look, and maybe I want this to be pink. So you can go into format, fill, more colors, and just go to a nice pink or something. And then if I want to do the lines over top as well, same thing. So this one is just a pattern color fill. So I'll once more do more colors and a lighter pink and go like that and do OK and hit apply. And then so when I change the actual day to 12 and January 6th. So you can see it just gives it a different color. So if you are finicky about your colors like I am, that's how you do that. And you can just undo if you don't like it. So then that brings us to our new release. So this actually draws from the project planner. So let's say I want to do a sexy harem book. So I come over here and it tells me this is my sexy harem book. So I will say, I'll just use this for now. I also have this as very big so that you guys can all see it. I wanted to make sure that it was big enough that you can see where I was clicking and what I was doing. So this up here, I'll show you at like the actual size. So you can actually see quite a bit. So this top part are all your milestones. These are all the big things that you have to be focusing on and thinking about. So it'll just kind of show you how they line up and if everything's cascading right. So cascading, it just kind of means like this, where this is working with this. So if I change the date of the paperback proof copy, everything else will change as well. So This might be a little bit finicky for you. It really depends on how you want to do it. So what I'm going to do is I am going to hit the shift button and select all 12. So this allows me to make changes to everything. So I don't want to be changing dates or anything like that, but I might want to be changing how long the scheduling takes. So if my paperback proofing is going to take 2 days and the ebook cover is going to take 1 day, then I can have that so that it has to wait the 2 days before it comes out. I'm sorry if you can hear my rabbit in the background. He is very antsy and he wants to play. So yeah, so we want the ebook proof copy to come after the paperback proof copy. But I don't like the fact that that's falling on a weekend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the scheduling and I'm going to just add to that so that that is 4. So it actually starts on Monday instead of starting on Saturday. So, and then I'm just going to go through and do the same thing with this, where I'm just adding different days so that this adds to the schedule so that it's not all happening on the weekends. So if you're somebody who working on weekends is when you are doing your writing working, this is going to be great for you. If you are somebody who wants to take your weekends off, this is going to be great. It's just a little bit of a hack so that you can make those changes without breaking everything. It just adds it in and it looks really nice and all that. So that's what I do. And then I do the cover reveal usually on a Friday. So now this shows me what my schedule is like. But you'll notice that this one is not increased because of the fact that it's still saying that it's 9 days of work, but it's going to take me longer than 9 days because of the weekends. So all I'm going to do is I am just going to hit the equal sign here and put in that last date. And then I'm going to erase the days and I'm going to do the equal sign and I'm going to do the end date minus the start date. So that extends this so that you can see that it encompasses all of that. And you can do the same thing here. Because of the fact that the project planner is taking still from the other one, I'm just going to go back and I'm going to put this here. So, and do the same thing. Okay. Oh, sorry, I have a circular reference. So this is always fun. So sometimes this happens, and I'm going to go back just so that you know that, this is not just going to be you breaking things. This just happens because of the fact that this is such a complicated round of calculations and all of that. So this is using like the roundup of how many hours. So once you start changing things, sometimes things do get a little bit funny. So I'm going to try to find the circular reference just so that you know where these things are coming from. So I'm just going to quickly do equal sign. And I know that that's going to be a circular reference for right now, but I will fix it. So because of the fact that I'm doing things a little bit different, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unselect everything and I'm going to go back into my promo planner. And instead of having this sheet draw off of this, I'm going to have this sheet draw off of this. So that means that I can make changes in this sheet and it will be represented here. But if you prefer to kind of schedule things on the master planner, then keep things as they are. So I'm just going to go in, and this is for the first book, so I'm going to go equal sign, go to the first book, go to the cover reveal start date, and put that in. Okay, so this is the circular reference that it's finding, is it's looking at this one, and this one is looking at that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to that one there. Oh, that's what's happening. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually just change this one. So then when we come back here, we can see that the new update is here. So anytime you make a change, it's really just going to depend on how you want to do things. If you want the individual sheet to draw from the major sheet, or if you want the major sheet to draw from each individual sheet. I'm at the point where I like to make lots of changes and see how things are going. So that's typically what I do, is I manually insert these ones and make sure everything's drawing from that. It's a little bit more complicated, but it also allows me to feel a bit more in control. So the plotting for this one is fully done, and the title and the blurb and the writing. So I haven't started on the editing, and I probably won't until January. So I will probably do the editing after the cover review. So I'm going to do January 20. I'll do January 22nd. And I'll start my editing there. So you can see that that came up. And I'm going to be doing these things at the same time. So I'm just going to do equals and then click the editing sign. I like to grab the excerpts and stuff while I'm working on everything. So I'll just change this to 2. So where I was changing dates and everything, I was just working on the first tab. Now I'm going to be making changes to my process. So one of the things that I have unlocked now is paperback pre-orders. So I'm going to put in, I'm just going to copy this, and I'm just going to add publish paperback pre-order on Nook, and I'm going to do that at the same time. So I am going to copy, and I'm going to paste the values so that it keeps everything the same. There's a couple of different paste options. So if you do a regular paste, it pastes the different the formula. So it'd paste that. I want it just to paste the exact same stuff that's right above it. So it depends on, again, how you want to do things and everything, but it's really easy to go back and make changes. If I decide that, no, I want it to copy the formula, then I just paste it like that, and it'll show the formula. When you're doing the formula, these money signs means that that is a static cell. So you always want it to take from the cover reveal date. So you want to have the money sign before the C and before the number. If you want it to not take from that, so you want to just kind of continue on, then you just want to have it regular. So there's going to be a time and a place for everything. But sometimes you're definitely going to need it to keep a static thing. So then when you drag it down, it drags down properly. So an easy way to do the formula is to just drag down like that. And it kind of always will do the cover reveal date plus this number here. So that's the scheduling number. So yeah, there's that. I am also going to have to make sure that I'm now claiming the paperback book on Author Central. I don't feel I ever really had that in my schedule, but it's something that needs to be done during release week. So I am just going to put that, I'll put that there. above the claiming the book on BookBub because it's kind of the same thing. And I'm going to do the claim the paperback book. So then again, you can make any changes you need to your process. If you decide that you don't want to post on Pinterest, all you have to do is delete it. It shouldn't affect anything around it because of the fact that we are using the solid references and not like the flexible ones. So if you need to delete anything, feel free, go ahead, make this your own. And adding things, it's just as easy. So if you are doing Google Ads, all you have to do is just copy this line, paste to a new line, and then just put in monitor Google Ads. You can change how much time it's going to take you. Again, you want to be using the 0-15. So let's say it'll take me 20 minutes to fix that. So that should all be taken care of. I'm not doing Google Ads for each release, so I'm just going to remove that. But it really helps for what you have to do. So instead of becoming super overwhelmed, super confused at what's coming up and what the process is, you can look at it. And what I really like is I can see the process and how it goes. I know that I'm not able to schedule the cover reveal on Patreon before I have the cover. I know that I need to, create the Amazon keywords before I publish on Amazon and things like that. It really helps streamline what I need to be working on and when. I often felt like I was just kind of going around and I didn't know what I was really doing. I didn't know what I needed to focus on. I didn't know what part of the job I needed to be doing. So this really helps me see, okay, so I have a week before I have to do this, and I don't need to worry about that right now. It just allowed me to take all of my jumbled thoughts of trying to manage so many different parts of this business and put it into one place. So I also use a to-do list, but I don't put all of this in a to-do list. I find that really overwhelming to see all of the different things in one place. So this allows me to just look at, okay, what do I need to worry about right now? I have to worry about the cover reveal, and that is it. And I can forget about all of the other things. So when you look at your project planner and you know what's coming up, it is such a relief to know, okay, so I have a promo period here for a new release or for a backlist title, and I'm also working on my new release. So how many hours per day? What is that going to look like? And it helps you better know yourself and know your process. So included in this as well, outside of all of this cool stuff that lets you change everything, is this backlist promo template. So this is what I kind of do for each big promotion. So if I'm booking a BookBub or a free Booksy or something where I'm going to be getting a lot of eyeballs on my stuff, I want to make sure everything is right. So if I've looked at the cover and thought, I feel like maybe I can make that color a bit brighter or make these little changes, then I want to take that time and kind of look at it and make it the best cover I can. And I want to do this all before I even start booking the promo. So look at the blurb, make sure the blurb is right, make sure your back matter is pointing to all your new releases, especially if you're working in series. Update your file, update everything on all of the different sites. And then start scheduling your promotions. So these are the big ones that I like to use. BookBub, ENT, Red Feather Romance, and Bargain Booksy. These are like the big ones that I want to schedule around. They're not the only promotions I use, but they are kind of the ones that they're going to be the ones where I'm going to fill in the gaps with other ones. So if I want a fussy librarian or something, I'm not going to be trying to schedule my BookBub around a fussy librarian. I'm going to be trying to schedule my fussy librarian around my BookBub. So once I get these dates planned and everything, then I can start doing the other stuff. I'll also start doing promotion graphics and ads and all of that stuff. So then I have the markdown prices. And then I basically do the exact same thing for new releases as I do backlist promo, which is ads, posting on social media, making sure I'm just making noise and letting people know about it. And I also try to be updating the financials for the book so that I can track and see how well each promo is doing. And I've been doing this for a long time, so I can actually look and see how well my book is performing compared to my previous releases. So then I can make tweaks depending on how I'm feeling and how I think that things are going for me. So then you have your end of release clue up, and you can finish things out and change your prices and everything. So again, this is the real size. I'm noticing that there's like little things there. So all I do is you just kind of select it all, and then you just double click the lines here, and that allows you to just see the full days. So these actually are the dates. So they are linked to this kind of. It's not just like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but actually ties into the dates. So if you ever needed to change this, say you wanted to use the exact same one for 2020, then you can find and replace. You can do this, and you want to go into options, and you want to look within formulas as well, and you can change the 2019 to 2020. So you might need to make a little other tweaks depending on that, but it should all update pretty well. And I am still planning on maintaining this for 2020 anyways, but it is just something that you're able to do. I'm going to show you as well. So when you hover over something, you can see what's in the formula box here. So you can see that this is like a roundup of the calculations, because of course you want it to be a full day and not a half day or whatever, because then it won't show properly on the bar. And these are still coming from the project planner. So this one. So I just have this one sheet. You can copy. Just go to move or copy, and then go to create a copy. So if you wanted to have one for a different book, then you can do that, and you can just have that link to a different backlist title here. So say I wanted this to be drawing from a different project planner. So right now it's saying project planner C10. So if I go back to project planner, I can see that C10 is this file here, or this square here. So I want it to be C20 because that's the next one. So then that'll change everything, and you just need to go in and you do that for each square. So see, and you just repeat the action for these ones, and that'll slowly update everything. Yeah, so you get the gist. You can see that it's just slowly filling in all of those different things. So you can do that for each one if you want a separate sheet. I'm usually pretty good at just working on one backlist title at a time and just working off of this. But if you need a bit more help and a bit more guidance, then that's definitely what you should do, is make a different one for each book, just like I have with the different releases. So yeah, there was one more trick that I wanted to show you. if you hit Control tilde on your thing, you can actually see every one of these formulas. So if you're having a problem with a circular reference, or if you're not sure where something is coming from, you can look at this and you can see where the circular references are coming from. You can see where it's drawing from each thing. So I can see right now that C6 is leading to C18 and C18 is leading to C6. So that's what they call a circular reference, because of the fact that there is not actually no information being put into either of these. It's just calling what the other one is calling for. So that's something that you want to avoid, and that's something that came because of the fact that I wanted to make those changes to call from the project planner, or to call from this instead of the project planner. So once I finish what I'm doing, I will be going into each one of these, and I will be doing the same thing that you just saw me be doing at the backlist promo. So I will be literally going here, and I will be saying for the project planner for new release 2, I actually want the cover reveal to come from the project sheet. So I will select that, and I will select that. And then for this, you can see the circular reference. So what we're going to do is we are just going to input the actual date that I want to start work on this one. So now it's no longer a circular reference. You can see that this actually has information in it. This is how dates look when it's a formula. But you can see that C6 is now drawing from C18. And then on our project thing, this is actually updated with the proper cover reveal day. So it's a bit slower if you want to do it like that, but it is how I prefer. I did it the other way for you guys because I figured that you'd more likely want to look at this and schedule it on the big sheet. So yeah, to fix that, you just do the Control tilde again. And I can see there's a couple of little errors now because of the fact that I'm in the middle of changing things. So it is going to take just a little bit of time to get all of these dates right and get it all fixed, but that's something that you're going to be doing anyways. That's going to be something that you're going to be wanting to look at when you're planning. So it's not a big deal. Just take it slow, take it one sheet at a time. Just work your way through and make sure that this one looks right and it is on this project planner right, and then that'll really help you just plan for the next one as well. So this is how it will look. I have my sexy harem book. I am 1% complete. Once I start filling these in, so again, I'm drawing from nothing. I'm assuming that you would want to fill this in slowly, but if you don't, you go over to the 0% equals, find out how we are at writing. We are at 57%, and that'll start autofilling. The cover reveal, I'm 0% done, so that's right. The pre-publishing, I am 0% done. And you can either do it, so I've been doing it at the individual ones, but you can also do it up here if you just want everything kind of in the same place. It's super easy. Cover reveal. Most of what I guess I'm trying to say is don't be afraid of it. It is scary looking. I know it's scary looking. And that is because it holds so much information and it is so flexible and you can do so much with it. So it seems really scary, and that's totally normal. I spent several months getting this ready and prepared for myself. I consulted with an occupational therapist to try to make it something so that it's friendly for people with mental illnesses, especially organizational problems like people with ADD or ADHD and anxiety. I really wanted to make this something where when you look at it and you see you're behind, it's not so anxiety inducing. It's something that you look at as a flexible template. It's something that you can make changes to and have other things change in kind, so you're not feeling so, oh God, if I change my cover reveal date, when am I going to need everything done? What's going to happen next? It'll kind of more gracefully allow you to change directions instead of leaving you scrambling. So if I decide I want to do this on February 2nd, things move. So it moves out. I can see that this probably isn't the best plan, considering I'm also supposed to be working on the publishing preparation, but maybe that's what I have to do this month. Maybe it's been a really bad, really busy month. I'm going to have to work some overtime and I'm going to have to get all this stuff done. So it is something that then you can make changes. Okay, well, maybe if I need the cover reveal out that far, then I'm going to have to push everything else out as well. So I will change this to February 20th, and that moves. And I will change my release week to March 1st. And that all moves as well. And this allows you to have the, actual start date. I will once more just change that so that I don't have to see where I messed up or where I made changes or where I did that. I don't need to see that. So I'm just going to change that, and then I'm going to look up and see that, okay, it's a little bit better. These ones still aren't calling from the below ones, again, in the middle of making changes. But once you get that all set up, it'll look so nice. Publishing date. Oh, another circular reference. So what you can also do if you prefer to do it this way, so what you could do is remove the end date, and you can actually, in here, you can do the start date plus how many days it'll take you, and that'll also fill that in. There's a lot of ways to get this information to autofill. It really just depends on how you want to do it. So you could just manually put it in. You could have it call from like the last cell in the sub form or sub column. So, if I want the cover reveal to always be the last day, then I can just have that call to this one. But I could also just say it's going to take me 16 days no matter what, so I need the end date to be 16 days after that. So I could do the start date plus the number of days, and that'll give me the end. I can change the number of days like I have here. So it's just the end date, take away the start date, and that gives me 16. There's a lot of different ways to get the information that you want and how you want it to work. So I do recommend kind of doing it like this so that you can see where everything is and where everything's calling from and where you want everything to call from. I think the best thing is to really sit down and ask yourself, do you want to have one project planner where this is where everything is? And if you want to make changes to the cover reveal date or the publishing date, then you want to do it here. If so, that's how it's all set up. So for release, I'll do release 4 or 5 because I don't think I've done anything with that one. So I'm going to change release 5 to happen on August 6th. And everything will change, and I can go to release 5. I did make that one change, but and everything else will look right. other than that one thing I changed on all of the sheets. So that's the way that it's set up. That's the way that it's, I guess, intended to be used. But if you're me and you like to have a bit more control over each individual task and all of that, then it might work best to do it the other way and have the project planner update based on what you have in here. You could try it both ways, see what works for you. As the year goes by, this is going to become a more effective tool as you get used to it. The first time I used it, I didn't like how it was going and I didn't like how it was being operated. So I actually just scrapped it and I start fresh and I set it all up and now it's beautiful. So it's working exactly for how I need it to work for me. And that's what this is all about. I tried so many different project management software that it just wasn't working for me. It wasn't flexible enough. It didn't give me the cascading, which was really important to me so that I could see what each part I'm supposed to be working on and what needs to be done in what order. Those types of things were really frustrating for me and I wasn't finding it. So developing this, it just made things a lot more simple, a lot more clean and clear and beautiful for me to look at. I love being able to fill in these things with 100% done or 75% done or 50% done and see my progress. I love being able to see how my individual progress is adding to the overall progress of the project. I love it when these turn 100% and everything is wonderful. It's a really positive experience for me. It gives me a lot of really positive feedback. So another thing that I know that people were wondering about is in regards to having things that aren't just writing. So I know a lot of people who are writers are also doing other things. So how do you get that onto the spreadsheet and does it work? So I'm going to show you just now, like say I am also a photographer and I need to know about photo shoots coming up. So I am actually just going to erase all of this because that doesn't matter anymore because it's not part of the backlist and we don't need to worry about the calculations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a photo shoot for January. So I'm going to have a photo shoot and I'm going to have it on I'm going to have it on January 19th. Okay, so it is going to take me one day to do the photo shoot. So I'm going to just have it do the January plus the day so that it's nice. It's right there. So what else do I have to do for a photo shoot? Well, I have to book the location. So let's say I have to book the location 10 days in advance. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the photo shoot date minus 10 days. And that'll tell me that I have to make sure that I am booking it on January 9th. It is going to, again, take me one day to book the location. So I'm going to do that. So before the photo shoot, I might have to do some research on what styles, what clothes, that type of thing. So I'm just going to put 2 days for research. So I want to do that probably the day after I book the location. I'm all excited. I have it all ready to go. And it's going to take me 2 days. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do that plus that. And I'm going to have to make sure that I have the contract signed. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do that. And it's going to take me one day to make sure I have that. So I'm not going to worry about how many hours right now, but you can definitely fill that in. But I am just going to, again, copy the actual date so that it kind of bolds it up and everything, and the actual days. Okay. Oh. The 2018 thing is going to be the end of me. Okay, and that's going to be the average there. So the first date of the photo shoot is going to be the day I booked the location. It's not actually, because that's not how that works, but whatever. And the end date is going to be that. So it's going to take me overall 11 days to get this all ready. Helps if I select the right cell. So then I can see that I have a photo shoot and I have to prepare for it this way. So it is really flexible. You don't need to worry about any of these little things. You could even just make an entire new thing for it. So I'll show you how to do that. Just go to create a copy. I will do it after the backlist schedule. Okay, so I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to do it side hustle. I don't know how to spell hustle. There we go. So because this is all stuff that I'm going to want to ignore from what I had before, I am going to just delete everything out of these files. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to do it a different color. So I'm going to do, I'll stick with the blue. And so I'll do like a little bit of a lighter blue here, and I'll do a brighter blue here so that it sticks out. So I will do okay, so again, I can just fill all of this in. If I am doing cover design for somebody else, what you could do is just going to copy the color. So say you're doing a cover design for a bunch of different people and you just want to track all of your freelance hustles. What you might want to do is do cover design for John Smith. So the start date, John Smith wants it by January 10th. It's going to take you 10 days. So I'll start it off at January 1st. For this one, you might actually want to track how many hours you work, but it might be that you don't want to put it in now. Maybe you want to book it as you're doing it. So if you do one day and you do an hour-long work, then you can put that in. If the next day you add another 45 minutes, then you can just add that in, and you can keep doing that. So then it's an easy way to kind of track your hours for billing purposes as well. So you need to have that by January 10th. So then after that, you have a cover design for Mabel. So you know that you don't want to double book yourself, so you want to start that on January 11th. You know it's going to take you another 9 days. So again, and if you want this to be the same size, you can just extend it and double click, and that makes it the same size as everything else. So say I'm 10% done with this one. It'll really help you kind of manage your time a bit more better. I am actually an author, and I said a bit more better. It'll help you manage your time, see what you have on the docket, see what you need done. You could get rid of all the rest of this and just keep adding to it. You could do this for all of your due dates. Basically, it's just a way of tracking how much time it's going to take you to do a project. So if you want to, like, literally all you have to do is just the copy and paste. That pastes everything. It pastes, the chart, it pastes the formatting and all that good stuff. So you don't have to worry about losing anything. And again, if you want to see what's in a cell, just do the control tilde. So yeah, this will help you do stuff outside of your writing too. And it works especially well if you have longer projects that have a lot of components. Say you want to track a bit more for the John Smith cover, you want to do looking for stock. And you want to do purchasing a new font. So then maybe you want that to be kind of a bolded thing as well. So you can just do the format painter and go to cover design, and that makes it bold and kind of stand out. So then we'll do the same thing for Mabel. So then you know that you have these different pieces to do before you can get the full cover design. So this works out really well. Same with the project planner. It works out really well if you have a lot of different pieces before you can have one whole completed project. So yeah, once you're all done, you will have a project management spreadsheet that you can glance down at and see what you have on the go. If you're overbooking yourself, if you're spreading yourself too thin, if you have things that are overlapping. It's not always bad to have the overlap, but it just depends on how much time each of those things are going to take. And I think it just really helps you in the future know yourself and know your capabilities and be able to push yourself without overextending yourself. That's been the most important thing for me, is just allowing me to look at things and see what I need to do and get to it. So it takes a lot of stress and anxiety out of, like, oh, what am I supposed to do today? What do I have going? Oh, did I add that to a to-do list? And things like that. Yeah, so if there are any questions, if there are any thoughts, or you don't understand how to do something, let me know. I am not an Excel expert, but I am. I don't think anyone's a real expert. We all have to look for help. It is a very complicated piece of software, and the calculations are phenomenal and everything, but everybody runs into questions and problems. So it's really not embarrassing to be asking for questions, or if you don't understand things. I do have these little tags. So this automatically changes as we get closer to the release date. These are set to match the start date and the days for simplicity's sake. But you can change. And yeah, so there's different explanations over top of everything, but once you get the calculations in, you can start working on it right away. So I am just going to close out of this one and open a fresh one. So you could just see, once you fill this all in, things start working. Things are ready for you. So just make your changes here and it will update here, and you can get a really good start without any problems. And you can worry about the more complicated stuff as you get to it. So I hope this has been helpful. This spreadsheet has really just changed my life. It has made things so much easier for me. It has been such a great experience to figure out where I'm falling behind and where I'm struggling. I know that my editing date is always going to be pushing to the end, so I can adapt to that. So I know that I can do more pre-publishing stuff beforehand instead of worrying about the editing or whatever. It allows me that flexibility, which I really like. So yeah, this is my project management spreadsheet for authors. You can purchase it on my website at Pathforgers, PATHFORGERS.com. It is also available on Etsy if you look up project management software for authors. And as I said, it is really great even if you are not just worried about books, even if you want to just change all of these different things. It is all there for you to make those changes and modifications and make it work for you. This is just a tool, and it is a tool that can help. You just have to modify it to your needs. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. Thanks so much.
Hey, this is Michelle. Are you a new author or an experienced author who is feeling incredibly not going to differentiate? Don't need that. Cut that.